Wall Street remains shut for trade on account of President's Day. Stocks in the Asia-Pacific trade mixed, while the SGX Nifty is indicating a mildly higher start for the Indian market. Minda Corp says its acquisition of a 15.7% stake in Precol is only a financial investment and it will continue to be a minority shareholder in the auto parts maker with no special rights. The company also says it will continue to explore all opportunities going ahead. Former Commerce Secretary BVR Subramanian is set to take charge as the CEO of the Niti Aayog, replacing Parameswaran Iyer at the helm. The 1987 batch IAS officer has previously held the post of Chief Secretary of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and also served as a Joint Secretary in the Prime Minister's office. US President Joe Biden makes a surprise visit to Kyiv just days before the war-torn Ukrainian capital marks a year of the Russian invasion. The US announces additional military aid of $500 million, says Putin's war of conquest is failing. And a 6.4 magnitude earthquake followed by a second measuring 5.8 hit the Turkish province of Hatay overnight, a region already grappling with the devastation wreaked by twin earthquakes 2 weeks ago. The latest quakes claim at least 3 lives and leave hundreds wounded, even as most of the population has been evacuated. Hi guys, a very good morning and welcome to Power Breakfast. I'm Pavitra Parekh. Those are the top stories that we have for you as we get into this brand new trading day. There's lots to talk about, but first up, a look at the global markets. Limited cues coming through because US, like we pointed out, was shut for a holiday. So we have the Asian markets which are trading and there's no big move over there right now. So what's doing the best is perhaps the Shanghai markets just around 0.25% higher. No big move at all. Kospi's around 0.2% in the green as well. You have Hang Seng on your screen, just a minor green tick over there. And for the rest of the Asian markets, you're actually seeing some cuts. So the Taiwanese index up on your screen, it's down around 0.3%. You have some, 15 points of a cut coming in for the Japanese markets as well, but really no big direction from Asia. The SGX Nifty will come up for you, and it is indicating quite a flat start for our own markets with just around 17 points higher on the SGX Nifty right now. So that's happening across the global markets. But let's talk about all of the cues that you should track as we get into this trading day. We have our research team here with the trade setup, as well as the individual names that could be in the news today. So we have Mangalam, Ekta, as well as Surbhi joining us with the trade setup. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. Ekta, let me come to you first. We did end the session lower and we started the week a little bit on the back foot, but take us through what we should watch today.
Thanks for that, Pavitra. Well, yes, yesterday the markets did end lower. The Nifty ended below that 20-day moving average of 17,847. The financials continued to underperform. IT stocks gained. FIIs, in fact, net sold around 158.95 crores. DIIs net bought around 86.23 crores. So the same trends that we've seen in the previous trading session continued into Monday's trade. Like you mentioned, the US markets are closed for trade. Asia is largely waiting and watching what could exactly take place with the Fed minutes later on this week. So that is something which would be a important point to note for the Asian markets as well as for the global markets. SGX currently indicating a bit of a positive start. So like I mentioned, this week in terms of cues, we'd have the big cue coming in from the Fed in terms of the minutes. We have F&O expiry. Watch for further pressure in terms of the banks because that has been an index which has underperformed on a year-to-date basis. In fact, the Bank Nifty is at the lowest level that we've seen since Jan 31st and has underperformed the Nifty. In terms of the Nifty, resistance levels seem to be at around 18,000 at this point in time. The near-term levels, 20 DMA, which we've already spoken about, 17,847, 100-day moving average, as well as the 50-day moving average would be the near-term levels to watch out for in terms of the markets. So over the week, Fed minutes would be top of mind along with F&O expiry.
All right, Ekta, thanks a lot for bringing us all of those cues that we should track. Let's also talk about the individual stocks that could be in focus in today's trading session. We have Surbhi standing by with that entire list. Good morning, Surbhi.
Good morning. I have a few stocks on my radar today. The first one is ACC and Ambuja, where Adani Cement says that they can resume operations at their Himachal Pradesh plants with effect from 21st of Feb. Next is Minda Corp. They held their analyst call yesterday, and the management says that the investment in pre-call is for financial investment purpose only, and they continue to be a minority shareholder with no special rights. Asian Paints, the company signs an MOU with the government of Gujarat to set up manufacturing facilities in Dahej, and this is to manufacture VAE and VAM. Next is BEML. The company signs MOU with Delhi Metro for Bahrain Metro Rail projects. BEL company, along with Delhi Metro, launches India's first indigenously developed signalling system. And lastly, GR Infra. The company has emerged L1 bidder for 2 projects in Uttarakhand with a total project cost of close to 3,600 crores.
All right, Surbhi, thanks a lot for that entire list of stocks. We're going to watch for all of these in today's trading session. It's finally over to Mangalam, who's looking at all of the cues from the futures and options space. Mangalam, like we were just pointing out, it was a near 100-point cut at the close. We're pretty close to that 20 DMA level.
We are. In fact, the 20-day moving average is likely to be the first support, as it has been in yesterday's trading session as well. So the Nifty closed at 17,845 yesterday, whereas the 20-day moving average stands 17,839 itself. Not much in terms of flows coming in from the cash market. The gross volumes are rather low, but the FIs, they unwound almost 700 crores in index futures, though. They unwound around 575 long contracts, added around 7,300 short contracts, as a result of which their long exposure is now just around 22%. Remember, just a few days ago, this was as high as 27, 28 odd % itself. And above and beyond all of that, they bought more calls than puts. So maybe, were the market to break out, they would benefit from that. However, at the same time, they've written more calls than puts as well, around 85,000 calls what they've written, as against 59,000 puts that they've written. And remember, this is over and above the 2.2 lakh calls that they've written already. So in just the last 2 trading sessions, the FIs have written 3 lakh calls as against 1.5 lakh puts itself. And that explains why the put call ratio is at 0.74. Important to know that, levels between 0.7 to 0.75 is where we see a bit of a bounce from. So were the markets to bounce, the FIs have positioned themselves at the call levels itself. What were the calls that were active? 17,900, extremely active in yesterday's trading session. 18,000 call also saw a fair amount of writing. So at the same time, that's telling you that levels closer to 18,000 to 18,050 may face a bit of a resistance, even if the markets were to bounce. 17,700 put, however, continues to see some writing. So, if we were to break the 20-day moving average at any point in time, the next leg of support would be closer to around that 17,700, 17,650 to 700, which was the erstwhile support zone for the market.
Right, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. For now, the SGX Nifty is indicating quite a flat start, just around 15 points in the green. So let's see how the session moves from here. But with that, we have to get into our first short break on the show. When we return, like we told you, Minda Corp says its acquisition of the 15.7% stake in pre-call is only and only a financial investment. More details when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast here on CNBC-TV18. Now, like we told you, Minda Corp held its conference call yesterday, which was very closely watched. And they've said that their latest acquisition of 15.7% stake in rival auto parts maker Precall was purely a financial investment. So Sonia is here to tell us more about that. Sonia, Minda Corp really just reiterating what they told the exchanges last week.
Absolutely. Making it very clear that the investment that they've made in Precall is merely a financial investment. And they are looking for other opportunities as well. They also said they will continue to be a minority shareholder with no special rights in Precall at the moment, at least. They also spoke about how they will explore all opportunities going ahead, as well as the long-term debt of the company now stands at about 150 crores and the short-term debt is 350 crores. So post this investment that Minda Corp has made, their debt equity stands at about 0.3x, which they are comfortable with. Apart from that, they are bullish on the growth prospects of the instrument cluster segment, which is a segment in which Precall has a large presence. They are the number 2 player globally in that segment. They also spoke about how, overall as well, they've invested about 161 odd crores and in the instrument cluster segment in FY22. And the two-wheeler analog cluster, which currently costs about 400 rupees per unit, is expected to transition to a digital cluster with telematics integration. Now, once the digital transition happens, then the potential kit value is 4,000 rupees per unit. So there is a potential of the kit value going up from 400 to 4,000 rupees a unit, and that's a big positive. So I'm expecting the stock to be in the green this morning post the conference call details. The management also said that they have enough and more cash flow generating ability to fund the acquisition, and currently their balance sheet is quite strong enough to fund any future investments as well.
All right, Sonia, thanks a lot for taking us through all of the highlights of that conference call. In fact, let's hear it out from the management of Minda Corp as well. Here are some of the highlights from that conference call.
Minda Corporation has purchased 15.7% equity in Precol for a cumulative amount of 400 crores through on-market transactions on 17 February 2023. The shares of Precol are purchased solely for the investment of the surplus funds available with the company. Minda Corporation investment in Precol is through market purchases constituting a minority stake, and this investment does not grant any special rights. Minda Corporation is and will be generating enough free cash flow from operations to fund our routine capex and organic growth. The company has well-positioned balance sheet. We have, after this investment, we'll have a debt to equity at about 0.3, and the debt to EBITDA will be around 1:1. The long-term debt as of today is about 150 crores. Short-term is to the tune of about 350.
All right, that is the management of Minda Corp. Like we told you, just making it absolutely clear that they are looking at this only as a financial investment. But with that, let's move on and also bring you updates on the Adani Group. Adani Ports as well as SEZ paid 1,500 crore rupees to SBI Mutual Fund and Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund on commercial papers due yesterday. The company will also prepay commercial papers maturing in March to SBI Mutual Fund as well as Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. So that's an important update we had to bring you on Adani. But with that, there's something more that we're tracking. The finance ministers and central bank governors of the G20 nations will all be meeting for the first time under India's presidency on the 24th and 25th of February. This is going to be in Bengaluru. Ritu Singh is here to tell us what we can expect. Ritu?
That's right, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das will jointly chair the first G20 Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors meeting under India's presidency on the 24th and 25th of February this week. This is going to be preceded by a meeting of G20 Finance and Central Bank deputies, which will be co-chaired by the Economic Affairs Secretary Ajay Seth and Michael Patra, Deputy Governor of RBI. The meeting is also going to see participation of Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors of G20 members, invitee members as well as heads of several international organizations. So in total, there will be 72 delegations that are expected to attend. Now, several issues are going to be taken up, of course, such as strengthening multilateral development banks to address shared global challenges, financing for resilient, inclusive and sustainable cities of tomorrow, leveraging digital public infrastructure and so on. And they'll also cover issues related to the global economy, global health and international taxation as well. Now, on the sidelines of these meetings, there will be events which are related to digital public infrastructure, policy perspectives on crypto assets, and the role of national payment systems in cross-border payments as well. Now, apart from these, there will of course be some special dinners that are organized, cultural programs and excursions that are planned for the delegates attending the event, and there will be a special walk the talk policy in action event during which the ministers and governors are going to visit the Indian Institute of Science to engage with tech innovators and entrepreneurs that are working on affordable solutions to some of the challenges being faced by G20 member countries.
All right, Ritu, thanks a lot for taking us through everything that we can expect. We'll, of course, trust you to keep bringing us updates once the meeting does start on 24th and 25th of February as well. We have to get into a short break now, but on the other side, we're tracking all of the cues from the commodity market, so stay tuned for that. Hey guys, welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast, and let's talk about the commodity space now. Manisha Gupta joins us with an update. Manisha, looks like there's been a little bit of pickup in crude after, after seeing it fall for so many days.
Oh, well, yes. A percentage point of gain is what we've seen yet again for a second straight day come in for the crude oil prices, as there is optimism that the China transportation demand is on an upside and the new Chinese refineries also are coming on stream. But very good gains is what we've also seen in the metal prices. Here as well, the China new home sales grew for the third straight week in 16 major cities. Also, China National People's Congress in March is expected to announce further stimulus. So you have the zinc prices now trading at a 5-month highs. Copper is inching towards those 7-month highs. And in the ferrous metals, you have iron ore and steel prices also headed towards 7-month highs. The stability in US dollar index also seems to be supporting metals today.